Business Literature Festival, where business meets wisdom. Today I have with me Mr. Banerjee, the President and CEO of Caprihans India, and also the author of today's book, Corporate Frauds, Business Crimes Now, Bigger, Broader and Bolder. Thank you so much for joining me, Mr. Banerjee. To start off, can you please tell us, in your own words, what is this book about?
This book is all about how to do frauds, who does it, and of course, how to prevent one. The issue here is when we look at the business world, we see the bright side, the great advertisements, great stories, success stories, of course, but there is an underbelly, the bad news. Some of them, perhaps many of them, try to make a fast buck. How does these fast bucks made? Who does it? What we should know about it, and perhaps, and not perhaps, but most importantly, how to prevent them. Knowledge is power, and this book is all about how most of the types or all the types of business frauds which are committed in the modern world, how that can be, how it is done, and importantly, how it can be prevented.
Thank you. And I'm so glad you mentioned this because there's a lot of fascination around frauds and scammers, and also sometimes even glorification, which should not be there. But when you're writing a book like this, how do you kind of balance both of them? Because of course you want that intrigue and curiosity, but you also want people to know that this is wrong.
People do want to know what's the dark side of the corporate world. People do want to know. Unfortunately, no one writes about it. Perhaps there is no literature on this subject. And the way I have attacked the problem is picked up stories in the public domain, picked up stories which has happened, picked up stories which courts have found out the wrong has happened, the wrong has been done. And those stories are what I spin around and try to provide examples as to what was done, what went wrong, and hopefully that shouldn't be done again. So it's all about spinning stories around what is already in the public domain, and it has worked wonders. My book has more than 350 live stories, and which obviously led to more than 350 questions and answers.
Yeah. And your subtitle in this is Bigger, Broader, Bolder. Can you tell me how have crimes become bigger, broader, bolder in today's age as compared to maybe before?
2015 is the time when I wrote a book called Who Cheats and How. It was on business scams and frauds. And when I was writing another book in 2010, 2020, 2021, I found the world of fraud has moved on. Remember, some time back we know about the Harshad Mehta fraud, and that is almost nothing in compared to the frauds which takes place today. If you perhaps know that Nirav Modi, there was a fraud, and which was conducted over 14 years, and it was for 14,000 crores. So there are these stories of frauds which are taking place in the modern world, which are singularly larger in size. These are of course bolder, otherwise no one would do fraud over years worth thousands of crores. And of course it has now become bigger. So not only it is broader, it is affecting many parts of the population, it has become bigger and larger. And of course it is very bold because people know if I'm getting caught, and if I do get caught, I shall be jailed. So in spite of all the jails around which we see, there are still cheaters and scamsters who wants to scam and cheat you and me.
And how has this perspective changed among the public too? Because it seems that people almost expect to be scammed or to be defrauded, and yet they're still not doing anything to kind of protect themselves.
Absolutely true, because in spite of scams taking place, people are falling into those traps. You must have heard of scams like Ponzi schemes, where people say you deposit 1 lakh rupees and I give you 20% return, 25% return. So they are all thinking of trying to make quick buck, not understanding that thousands and thousands have lost money by falling into these so-called promises which cannot be kept. How can you keep money or keep deposits which are going to return for every 100 rupees, 20 rupees? Not possible. It is impossible. Not believing that it is not possible, still people walk into that trap and deposit 100 rupees only to gain 20, and the whole 100 rupees go away. So yes, people, in my view, are not learning the lessons of the fraudsters. And most importantly, the fraudsters are becoming more cleverer. They know what went wrong the last time, and perhaps they read my books. That's why they can take care of it. And they are more smarter. And therefore, they are conning more and more people, in spite of the fact that many are, of course, getting caught.
Absolutely, and everyone says, you know, the internet is ahead of the law, and as long as that keeps changing, people will find new ways to kind of defraud you. Of course, most of us are online all the time. You can't check everything. Tell me, you know, is there a particular case or a situation that inspired you to kind of start writing books on, you know, frauds and scams?
Yes, about 6-7 years back, I was trying to think as to what goes wrong in the stock market. And I'm a chartered accountant by educational qualification. I have a financial background. And then I was thinking that these balance sheets and profit and loss account, based on which people takes views and buy stocks in the market, they're not always correct. In fact, many of them are fraudulent. And I started writing a book on accounting fraud, only to realize that it's just a small subset of the whole thing. That people like you and me are getting conned not only in accounting frauds, which is doctoring the balance sheet and profit and loss account, but there are hundreds and hundreds of the methods by which we are being fooled, where the corporates make money and people like us end ourselves in the losing side.
Absolutely. Now you're a CA by profession, but you're also a writer. Can you tell me about some people who've inspired you in the writing sphere that made you want to go down this path?
Since my childhood, I was very poor, coming from a very poor family, and there was no food to eat, not much. So I used to teach students to make some money, and therefore I can pay my school and college fees. So from this, I could realize that I have perhaps the aptitude of communicating what I want to communicate. So which was obviously oral communication, which I guess went into written communications in times to come. And I could realize that, yes, whatever I'm saying and writing may be making sense to some of them. So yes, that's how I have become an author.
And if, you know, this is a bit of a difficult question, but if people could only take away one thing from your book, or like some feeling they could take away with the book, what would you want that to be?
Knowledge is power. You need to know what is going wrong. If you get to know what is going wrong, hopefully you can take care of that those things does not go wrong for yourself. Knowledge is power, and it is indeed the power.
And any advice you might have for young people out there who want, or even anyone who wants to be an aspiring writer?
For the young ones, for the future of the mankind, don't take things for granted. If someone is painting a wonderful picture, please think, how come such a wonderful picture? It cannot be. So that's one. Number two, as far as future authors, my submission is keep writing and keep blogging. More you write, more you get better. More you sing, you get better. More you draw, more you get better painter. So more you write, more you get better. So keep writing. Blogging is fantastic. Nowadays, you don't need anyone to publish your work. And slowly you will realize that people are liking your writing, and yeah, things go automatically well.
What a wonderful message to end the session with. Thank you so much for
Thank
joining
you.
me today
Thank
and
you so
coming
much.
to our festival.
Thank
we
you.
hope to hear a lot more from you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, all of you.